make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Launching another brand new hour here, the Steve Gruber Show, and a brand new day as well from the foxhole of freedom, which always makes me ask, who do you want in your foxhole? The chips are down. You really need to know you have somebody to count on. Who's it going to be? Lots of work to do here today, so let's get to it. Here are three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, an Uber driver, a radical leftist, arrested and charged for starting the devastating Pacific Palisades fire earlier this year in California. Surprised? Yeah, me either. Number two, the world's tallest Boy Scout, Jim Comey, the former FBI director, has now been arraigned on a pair of felonies for lying to Congress and obstructing a congressional proceeding. His trial set for January. And in breaking news last night, in case you missed it, Hamas has accepted Donald Trump's outline for a 20-point plan to end the war there in Gaza and return the hostages in short order. On Truth Social, here's what Donald Trump put out last night. I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers. Yes, they are, Mr. President. Yes, they are. Another step forward, more good news from the Trump administration on the fronts of war. We have one more to go. If we can just solve the problem in Ukraine. And that brings me to where I wanted to talk to you today anyway, because I wanted to talk about some good news today. We'll talk more about this coming up, but today, it's been years, and people have been saying this is the post-Christian age, but we're seeing a resurgence in faith and commitment to Christ in America like never before. Under an administration unafraid to speak God's name from the national stage, a quiet revolution has begun, not in the halls of power, but in the hearts of the young. From coast to coast, revival is rewriting the story of a nation that many thought had forgotten its creator. The Barna Research Group finds that 66% of all U.S. adults say they've made a personal commitment to Jesus, and that is still important in their life today. That's a 12-point percentage boost from 2021. 12 points. It is a revival. It's being fueled by changes in the next generation. It's being fueled by that change. Barna Group CEO says, quote, many people have predicted the growing irrelevance of Christianity. However, this data shows that spiritual trends have a dynamism and can indeed change. This is the clearest trend we've seen in more than a decade, pointing to spiritual renewal. And it's the first time Barna has recorded such spiritual interest being led by younger generations. The shift has been most noticeable since the pandemic. After all, it's in the darkest night that the light can shine bright. Young adults are starting to realize what kind of world they want to live in. And it's going to take real leadership to say the values that matter most to them and to this nation. That's what the experts are saying, too. Listen.
Like the Lord really called them to be deliverers. You know, just the fact that this generation has gone through pandemics and, you know, political crisis, and this generation has gone through even seeing historical court cases like Roe v. Wade overturned in their generation. It only speaks to the deliverers that God's placed in Gen Z.
Last Thursday, over 50,000 schools in all 50 states participated in Bring Your Bible to School Day. Think about that. Bring Your Bible to School Day. Students making it known loud and clear that they are not willing to hide their beliefs any longer. Just last month, the University of South Florida saw over 7,000 students gather for public worship. 1,000 of them make a profession of faith, and at least 300 baptized on the spot. At the University of Tennessee, just a few weeks before, the same thing. 8,000 students worshiping together, hundreds turning their lives around and showing their commitment with baptism. These events are happening all over the country, many of them facilitated by groups like Unite US. Unite US is a group that mobilizes college students across America to follow Christ and be bold in their faith. And here's why the group's leaders think this revival is happening now.
Students right now are so hungry for truth
and for hope. And I think they've looked for it in every other place, and they're realizing that the only truth and hope that they need is found in Jesus Christ.
I'm drawn to this because Jesus is everything to me. He has filled my heart in ways that only He can, and I want every single student on campus to know that drugs aren't the answer, to know that alcohol is not the answer, to know that women are not the answer, but it is Jesus. And I have seen that, and it's beautiful.
Unite US put out a documentary on the change they're seeing in Gen Z on campuses across America. And the White House's Kennedy Center played a documentary back in August about all of this. I think that's a difference we can't discount. An administration who celebrates the resurgence of faith and doesn't demonize it. The Kennedy Center itself used to be a stage for LGBTQ content, children's musicals that served as queer allegories, international pride orchestras, and drag queen brunches. Yeah, well, guess what? Not anymore. And the left might be losing their mind over it, but the outrage is being drowned out by Americans who are grateful to live under an administration that doesn't make sexual orientation the end-all, be-all. Americans of faith, and remember, according to the Barna Group, that's 66%, those Americans are grateful that our Secretary of State can get up at a memorial service, give a clear presentation of the gospel. This gave me chills. Still does. Listen once more to Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaking at Charlie Kirk's memorial. Here he is.
We were all created, every single one of us, before the beginning of time, by the hands of the God of the universe, an all-powerful God, who loved us and created us for the purpose of living with Him in eternity. But then sin entered the world and separated us from our Creator. And so God took on the form of a man and came down and lived among us. And He suffered like men. And He died like a man. But on the third day, He rose unlike any mortal man. And to prove any doubters wrong, He ate with His disciples so they could see, and they touched His wounds. He didn't rise as a ghost or as a spirit, but as flesh. And then He rose to the heaven, but He promised He would return, and He will. And when He returns, because He took on that death, because He carried that cross, we were freed from the sin that separated us from Him. And when He returns, there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and we will all be together, and we are going to have a great reunion there again with Charlie and all the people we love.
It was a remarkable moment, that. I was honored, blessed, actually, to be there. That's giving power to the truth right there. The Apostle Paul said he was not ashamed of the gospel. It doesn't seem like Secretary Rubio is either. I think that's something to be grateful for. There is prayer being answered here today. The end of the war between Israel and Gaza is the culmination of prayers being answered as well. The peace president pursuing objectives that end war. Hopefully we don't see any new wars start. Hopefully. We'll see how this all comes together. We've got a lot more to talk about here. Because not just young people are coming to Christ. Church attendance up 15% across the board. Bible sales surging, exploding in the last month, in fact. People are returning to faith. Why? Well, we're going to talk about that after I take a break here. Glad to see you this morning. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Real America's Voice, MTN Networks, all on the streaming. Bringing you today some good news. I'll be right back. All right, let's jump right back into it because it's been a month now since Charlie Kirk was murdered for his beliefs in public. And since that day, millions of people are learning more about what he stood for. Some are calling this resurgence the Charlie effect because people like these are becoming known to Jesus because Charlie was vocal about him. Listen to all this.
Charlie Kirk's death led me to give my life fully to Jesus Christ. Charlie's death really ignited a spiritual flame inside of me that I have never in my life experienced before. It's like a spiritual switch.
I didn't know Charlie Kirk, never met that guy before in my life. And something else that I've never done before in my life is believe in God. I'm going to wear this suit to church. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to try to be a better father, husband, and leader for my family.
I've never ever opened the Bible before. In fact, I know nothing about Christianity or Jesus. But yesterday, after witnessing the assassination of Charlie Kirk, something was calling me to my husband's Bible.
I'm going to be heading to church here shortly. I'm excited to go and learn and get to meet new people. Something that I've been wanting to do for a while, so.
The first time ever, in over 15 years, I'm going to church. It has been so heavy on my heart that I needed something. So, after Charlie Kirk's death and seeing what this world truly is, now's the time.
Now is the time. Millions of people like that. People who recognize that there's got to be something more to life than just death and taxes. And in the aftermath of Charlie's death, they saw clip after clip of Charlie defending his faith with grace and poise, purpose, and mostly with truth. They saw his wife bolstered by a grace that could only come from something supernatural. They heard her forgive his killer, not because he deserved it, but because she and Charlie believed in a God who forgives. I was asked once, what does the Bible tell you? Too complex, they said. I said, no. 2 words. Love and forgiveness. That is the Bible, my friends. Love and forgiveness. And now we're seeing regular Americans, like the videos I just shared, trying to figure out how they can find that same kind of strength from God Almighty. We're also seeing celebrities who want to speak the name of Jesus Christ with the same kind of boldness that Charlie did. Charlie's death didn't just wake up believers and unbelievers. It emboldened true believers to share their faith even more, to be loud and proud. RFK Jr. says it's affected even his own family. Listen.
Or my granddaughter left for college in Europe. Her mother noticed that she packed a Bible. When her mother asked her why she made that choice, she said, I want to live more like Charlie. And it's...
Yeah. Here's Forrest Frank, a Grammy-nominated songwriter who left secular music in 2024 to pursue Christian music, but who feels like the message is even more important now to him than it's ever been. Listen.
30,000 people unfollowed me because I posted about Charlie Kirk and I said that Jesus Christ is Lord. Good. I don't want you to follow me. I don't want you to track my music. I don't want you to come to my shows. I don't want you to do any of that if you don't do this one thing, and that is follow Jesus Christ, the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords, the one who is and the one who is to come. He's coming back real soon. So if you have not gotten your heart right with him and dropped down on your knees and repented to him, today is the day. The hour is at hand. I don't know if you can feel it too. There's a heaviness. Something shifted, and I don't care. I don't care anymore. I just want you to know that Jesus Christ is here and he loves you.
You can unfollow me, but follow Christ. You don't have to be an award-winning artist to feel the same way, to be bold in your faith, and guess what? You won't be alone. No, you won't. That's the lie that's been sold to us over the last decade, that we're out of touch with reality. Extremists, wackos, who believe in fairy tales and such nonsense. That's not the truth. Christian believers are all over this country and around the world. Many of them have been shamed into silence, but no more. The more of us who speak up and aren't ashamed, the more will join us. There's a thirst for truth like never before today in this country, a thirst for truth. In June this year, more than 28,000 individuals across the United States were baptized Sunday in what is believed to be the largest synchronized baptism event in our nation's history. Think about that, 28,000. In California, of all places, Pastor Greg Laurie held his annual Harvest Crusade at the Angels Stadium. It was the largest turnout he's ever seen in 35 years. More than 6,500 people made professions of faith in Jesus Christ. In fact, so many individuals came forward during the invitation to follow Christ that the fire marshal was forced to stop the flow of people into the stadium altogether. Friends, there's a revival happening. You have a chance to be part of it right now. Faith is something you've never given a chance. Now is a great time, as great a time as any, to start finding answers to those questions, because this isn't just a political moment. It's a moment of truth. It's a spiritual moment. And maybe that's exactly what this moment is all about. Realizing that revival doesn't start in Washington. It helps, but it starts in us. Each one of us. It starts when we decide to stop being silent, when we refuse to be ashamed of the gospel, when we choose faith over fear. This generation, Gen Z, millennials, parents, pastors, leaders, they're all waking up to the same truth, that the hope of this nation was never in politicians or platforms, but in a person, in a living God, Jesus Christ. So let's not miss what God is doing. Let's carry it forward in our homes, in our schools, in our communities, in our hearts, because the story of America isn't over yet. And by the looks of it, the next chapter just might be a story of revival. God bless you and God bless America. We'll take a break. I'll be right back. All right, back to it now. So much going on, and it's one of those days. I mean, you wake up so often to bad news, right? You do. Some terrible thing has happened. Innocent people killed. War, death, mass shootings, whatever it might be. Today we hope to turn a page. We wake up with a new spirit. The good news of the end of the war in Gaza, with Hamas and Israel accepting the 20-point plan from Donald Trump. Hostages, the ones that are still alive to be released, the bodies of those that are not to be released. Reinvigorated. Reinvigorated, that's how I feel today. Hopeful. Hopeful. I feel that strength. I hope you do too. It's nice to start this program on a very positive note. A note that says we can do this as a nation. We can be that Judeo-Christian nation that we are created to be. Pretty exciting. Well, strength isn't just about lifting weights. It's about your immune strength as well. You have to be healthy. recovery, staying sharp as we age. That's why I partnered with Longevity Wellness. This is a great company, folks. I love this. They have this brand new nutritional shake mix delivering collagen, omega-3s, gut support nutrition. It's all in one scoop. I've been trying it. My child that plays football, by the way, is pretty good. Comes home from practice and games and takes a longevity shake. It tastes great. It's easy. Made for real people who want to live stronger, longer. Check it out right now. Check this out. LongevityWellness.co. LongevityWellness.co. You're going to love what you find here. If you're on a GLP-1 and you don't want to lose muscle mass and bone mass, great product for that too. Stay strong. You want to lose weight? I understand that. But LongevityWellness.co. If you're losing weight through any process, LongevityWellness.co. Check it out. You'll be glad you did. More to come after the break. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Glad to see you today. All right, I'm been looking at the markets, of course, over the last few days. We're going to shift gears here a little bit, talk about the economy. Gold broke $4,000 an ounce for the first time ever. Silver is now at a record all-time high, just at $50, breaking its old highs set back in 1980 when the Hunt brothers cornered the market. Gold backing up a little bit. Maybe it's peaked, maybe it has not. We'll have to take a look at that. My next guest, Paul Stone, Air Force veteran, author of the explosive new book, 1971, How All of America's Problems Can Be Traced to a Singular Day in History. We'll talk about that. Paul, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Glad to have you here. All right, let's talk about the economy. It's a concern for some because as I look at this and the stock market setting records, it broke 47,000. The NASDAQ, the S&P is setting all-time records as well this year. Inflation down a little bit. We could see a reduction in interest rates. Right now, we're paying $1.2 trillion in interest as a country annually. It's ridiculous. But you're concerned for where we go from here, for America's retirement community. You think there could be a crisis, an economic collapse. I concern myself with the same issues. What are your thoughts today?
Well, on that specific note, if you thought of a country's currency as the steel in its financial infrastructure, the steel behind the walls. We all seen the skyscrapers being built, and we see all those steel girders going up and the concrete, right? What does the concrete hang off of? And so if that currency, that steel in the girders of our financial world were to weaken, wouldn't one come to the conclusion of the idea, at least the fear of, well, can things break off of that? So when the dollar was constructed, it was backed by gold because paper actually isn't money. It can represent the money. In our current, modern times, we could say that the paper money was the avatar of gold, right? So it was a better way to carry it. And when you come off the gold standard in 1971, you create all kinds of problems, this just being one of them. But in the year 2000, now that the dollar can just be created out of thin air, it isn't the avatar of gold anymore. It's money all by itself, which is
fiat.
Yeah, the dollar's worth 56 cents in the year 2000. Whoa. And today it's worth 3 cents. So if the dollar was also something that was mined, the government has emptied 97% of the dollar mine. And you're going, well, okay, who cares? But that's how the lights are on today. The $2 trillion a year that the government needs to create out of thin air or mine out of the ground to pay its bills means eventually there is no dollar. That's just what it means mathematically.
The weak dollar gets weaker, and a lot of people are concerned about that. On the same token, however, we're still the #1 economy in the world. If we go south, the whole world goes with us. China follows. The EU follows. If we go into let's say, a global depression, America, if we fall economically, everybody else falls too, don't they?
Right. So my crystal ball is still fuzzy, right?
Okay.
All I'm doing is reading the math problem. I'm giving math, which is a language, the vocalization it needs that people don't ever hear. And so I would say to you, one, that comment intends to assume permanence. And I don't know a reserve currency country by human standards that has ever lasted forever. Portugal had the title for 400 years. Rome invented it, and the countries in between, we took over for England. And so, and also one of the things about that is when the reserve currency country fails, we just want to understand that the people there made it great, and the governments presided over its ruin. But when England was losing reserve currency status to us, we were here to pick up the pieces for England. The dollar's worth 3 cents. Your government has created over 1 million years of money of debt in 25 years, right? How does that speak to permanence? The only thing that's permanent is what the government's #1 export is, which is inflation to the world, which is why the world is sick and tired of using our dollar. That's why Saudi Arabia said, no, we're not going to stay exclusive to the dollar anymore during the Biden administration. We also see idiots that come to Washington like Joe Biden decide to weaponize the currency and lock up $600 billion of Russia's wealth just because it happens to be electronically in the dollar.
So what is the future then? So let me ask you about that. Electronic currency, which is what they want in the EU. They want a cashless society. I've talked about this since the 1980s. A cashless society because that way they can control every transaction that you do. They could watch everything. They'll tax everything, whether you buy a stick of gum or buy a house. They'll be attached to everything, won't they?
Yeah, I just don't think, and I don't really mean for this to sound alarming, but I just don't think that they'll make it that far. We won't. You're losing 2 pennies of buying power in the dollar a year since the year 2000. Debt was 4 trillion in the year 2000. It's 37 trillion today. You want to talk about global warming? All of the ice sheets in the financial world are practically gone. All of the glaciers, all of the stanchions that you would count on that create a calm and stable, predictable and sustainable financial weather are all out of balance, and it's all done by man. And the scary thing again is, as England was losing reserve currency status, we came up behind them. Who would come up behind us? China? BRICS? No. So the world likely fractures into 3 zones. That who's willing to deal with North America, Europe is kind of stuck in the middle, and then all the BRICS nations. And there really won't be a reserve currency.
But
it's
BRICS
not like
really hasn't got any traction yet.
UN.
BRICS so far has not gotten the traction. They had their big meeting in July. It didn't really go anywhere.
No, they don't take over because they just like us better. It's when we implode, there can't be a void. There'll have to be a way that countries do trade.
So how do we fix it?
The first thing to do is arm the 350 million Americans in this country with the awareness of what your government's actually been doing to you as they cause inflation. And read the book. It's on Amazon. And that's not to sell books. That's literally to help my brothers and sisters here understand that you can take your life back, that which you focus on will grow. And when we can stop being so distracted and so reactionary to everything and calm down, just slow down for a second and realize life is happening where our feet are, zoom out and realize this is our 80 years to spend here. I want to spend it with peace of mind. And the government's not going to deliver that to me. I'm going to have to secure that. Then we will start representing something completely different for ourselves in Washington. Thomas Jefferson said, you get the government you deserve. Ouch. Ow, we're getting the government we deserve.
Well, the problem is the problem, Paul, is this. You said 350 million Americans have to, get on the same page. I don't know if you can get half of America on the same page any given day on any given topic. So there's your challenge. It's almost impossible because the government has not only fractured the currency and the dollar is so weak, it's also that they've fractured us into our little tribes and so forth. Yes, I got to leave it there for today. Well, where can people find the book, Paul?
It's on Amazon. 1971. That's the year Nixon created a false financial reality for us to be miserable in.
There you go, Paul Stone. Good conversation. You come back anytime, we'll continue it, all right?
I love that. Thank you for the invite, and thanks for having me, Steve. God bless you and all the work you're doing.
God bless you. That's the theme of the day. God bless you. If you don't have currency, you better invest in something important. A Bible comes to mind. All right, we'll take a break and be back. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Good morning. I've noticed this trend recently, and you probably have as well. A lot of people are just leery of Big Pharma, right? They are. Ever since COVID, they're like, you know what? No shots for me, no more pills. There's got to be a better way, a natural way to do things, and I think that's true. I think people want to find a way to be healthy, stay healthy, be invigorated, and not put heavy chemicals or whatever into their system, right? We heard about what Tylenol may or may not do. Just makes me wonder, why would I take it? If I'm not sure, why would you take it? And the reason I say all this is because my next guest, Tim Roberts, owns Patriots Relief, a natural way to get rid of pain, stress, anxiety. It's CBD. It's a product that can really help you. Tim's been on here for years now. He's a patriot. He's a Christian. He'll even pray with you on the side. Tim, welcome back to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve.
Good to have you here. All right, so look, I mean, you know that people are like, they're trying to keep drugs and so forth at arm's length. I mean, if you have to, you have to. If you're in the hospital, I get it. But if you're not, people want a better way to get there. And here's one of the great products that I use when I go to the gym. It's a topical intensive relief rub. It's about controlling pain. It's about controlling anxiety. It's about helping you sleep well. It's just a natural approach. That's what you talk about, don't you?
Absolutely. CBD is all about fueling a system that God put into all animals, and that's called the endocannabinoid system. And that system is actually supposed to produce its own cannabinoids, and environment, genetics, age, all of these factor into that system not having the ability to produce its own cannabinoids. So we supplement it with the natural CBD from industrial hemp, which is not marijuana. People don't have to worry about getting high. It's just the most abundant source for the CBD. So once we start fueling our system, you know, the oil's the best way. You put the tincture, you put the oil underneath your tongue. It's absorbed directly into your bloodstream and goes right to work, fueling this system. And that system is all about balance. That system is trying to identify things in your body that are out of balance, whether it's, you know, a pain in your knee or your hip, or you're having anxiety, anything like that. It's just looking for things that are out of balance so it can tell the brain what it needs to do to try to get things back in balance.
Absolutely. You know, it's not just about you and me, Tim, because anybody who's watched the program for a while knows that I have a dog. She lived to be 16 and a half, did Cody. And we started giving her CBD drops, a couple of years before she died, because she was all stiff all the time, because age catches up with everyone. Dogs, cats, you, me, everybody. It helped her tremendously. So if you have pets that are older, pets that seem stressed out or in pain, it could work for them too. It's not just for you and me. It's everybody under your roof, including the dogs and cats. If you have that, if you want to take care of your pets in a way that you never considered before, this is a great way to do it, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's so many of our customers they're pet lovers, you know, and they don't like, they hate seeing their animals in pain. We have Millie the donkey, who's 17 years old and weighs, I think, 800 pounds. And Millie was on her last leg. They thought they might have to put her down. And now
that's what Tim drives to work, by the way.
In the dirt.
Yeah.
What's that?
Tim rides Millie the donkey to work, for those of you wondering at home. That's why he has to make sure that she's taken care of. Anyhow, carry on.
Yeah, Millie's doing great though. Like the neighbors are like, "What, did you get a new donkey?" And you know, they're like, "No, we've taken years off of her life. Like, they're added years to her life. She's rolling around and jumping up." So just great stories. That's what I like about the phone number. You know, 877-230-1776. You can go to the website or give us a call. And we love the fact that everybody that calls in is a Jesus lover, Steve. It's just so great to talk to some of these people. I spend hours sometimes taking an order, just talking to these people that have such wonderful stories about how Jesus has changed their life. And it's amazing.
It really is. And like I said, Tim will tell you, if you call in and say, look, I've got this, you'll end up talking to Tim. He might pray with you. They've got a prayer board there. If you got something that you're challenged with in your life, it's all there. So you can save more, by the way, buying combo packs, providing internal and targeted topical relief like I've got here, offering 3,200 milligrams and 5,000 milligram tinctures. Great Big Beautiful Deal. That's what he's calling it. The Great Big Beautiful Deal, 47% off and free shipping if you use the promo code Gruber. Not just the phone number, but patriotsrelief.com. And look, I swear by this stuff. And I don't use recreational drugs. I don't use street drugs. This is patriotsrelief.com. You need this. And the phone number again is 877-230-1776. Those package deals are really the way to go, aren't they?
Yeah, just because we have to fuel that internal system. We have to give it the fuel that it needs to operate. So once we fuel that internal, so that system's functioning correctly, we can target pain. If you have pain in your knee, overdo it in the garden, in your hip or whatever, you can take that product and rub that in there, and you're going to find the relief is really, as you said, it's almost immediate, that pain relief. So you put those two together, and it's the great team that goes to work and starts battling that pain. But we also just knock more off the price. We put that combo pack together. We give you a bigger discount on top of the 47% off. I mean, that's we don't do that very often, do we, Steve? That 47% off and the free shipping. Absolutely.
But in celebration of the end of the war in Gaza, let's just say that's why the big one big beautiful discount. What'd you call it? One big beautiful deal, I guess.
The big beautiful deal.
There you go. Big beautiful deal. 47% off, free shipping. The promo code's Gruber. Go to patriotsrelief.com. I'll talk to my good friend Tim Roberts here. He'll help you out. And if you've never tried it, don't be afraid. I'm here to tell you, people that we partner with are good people. They sell good products. They're products that we use. I never talk about products or things on this program unless I'm familiar with them. Tim, as always, God bless you. Thank you for being here.
God bless you, Steve. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
There you have it, patriotsrelief.com, the one big beautiful deal. Great big beautiful deal. One great big beautiful deal. 47% off. Free shipping. Promo code's Gruber, patriotsrelief.com, or call 877-230-1776. All right, more news. Oh, yeah, the Hamas-Gaza war over. We'll be right back. All right, let's take a live look at what's happening in the Middle East. Celebrations, as there should be. Go ahead, just bring that full. Show the folks what's going on right there if you can. It's celebrations in the Middle East. You can see the Israeli flags are people gathered, people celebrating the acceptance by Hamas and Israel of the 20-point plan put together by President Donald Trump to end the 2-year battle in Gaza. The way this is going to play out, there are predetermined lines. Israel will draw back to the first predetermined line, hostages to be released. We believe there are about 20 hostages still alive. For those families, what a remarkable day this must be. For those whose relatives are still held but are not alive, those bodies to be released as well, we understand. And you can see that, a beautiful shot as they celebrate in the Middle East. Remarkable day. Remarkable day for the end of the war. And look, if you're an anti-Trump person, okay, so you are. But if you cannot give credit where credit is due, you should look in the mirror. This president pushed hard for this war to end. He cornered Benjamin Netanyahu in many ways and said, you need to take this deal. That's why he was at the White House last week. You need to take this deal. And they did. Happened late yesterday. Steve Witkoff was there for the United States and others, held by Turkey and Qatar and others. So a good day, a really important day for all of us. Again, the people I partner with are good people. My Pure Health being one of those. I was talking about losing weight earlier. If you want to lose weight the right way, and you don't want a GLP-1, and you don't want to take some sort of medication, My Pure Health, the way to get there. Men lose weight 20 to 50 pounds, depending on how far they go. Women, 20 to 30 pounds, depending on how far they go. And it's all up to you, the wellness company, My Pure Health, great company I've worked with since 2018. 2018. Find out more at gruberhealth.com. If you want to lose weight and you're serious about it, I did it. I did it. I went through the program. I believe in it. Now I'm going to get fit. You watch. I'm going to be healthier and more buff at 70 than I am at 60, even though I'm not quite 60. Close. 2 more big hours of the Steve Gruber Show. More to talk about, including what happened in Gaza, coming up. around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent.
Come on, man.
Come on, not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
And welcome aboard as we light the fuse on another big hour for you here on the Steve Gruber Show, fighting for you every day from the foxhole of freedom. Absolutely, we're fighting for this country. Three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, President Trump is on his way to the Middle East now as those peace talks to end the war in Gaza have concluded with a big, big win. We'll be talking about that in detail. In Texas, the Attorney General says he's created a task force to infiltrate and expose left-wing terrorist organizations. Liberals are screaming, but conservatives, they're cheering. And number three, why is the left losing the argument? Well, because they're on the wrong side of all these things. How many of these far-left social media websites today and social media platforms on the left are celebrating the big win in Gaza? They seem to be quite silent here. Why is there nobody that can be called the leader of the Democrat Party? Because there is no leader of the Democrat Party. They don't stand for anything. And when Donald Trump does something huge, like stop this 2-year war in Gaza, they say nothing. They are incapable of saying, look, this is good news. Except maybe John Fetterman will. John Fetterman might. So I'm hoping that he does, right? So let's go through this from the big news outlets. ABC News. Oh, this had to hurt. They were forced to admit President Trump has achieved peace in the Middle East. Listen to this bite.
Make no mistake, it looks like President Trump has actually pulled off something here that many presidents before him have failed to do.
Have failed to do. He's pulled off something here that many presidents before him have failed to do. Remember, Donald Trump moved the Israeli embassy to Jerusalem. Remember? Something other presidents had promised to do and never did, of course. He did. And now he's done this. Play that again. That's kind of fun. Play that again.
Make no mistake, it looks like President Trump has actually pulled off something here that many presidents before him have failed to do.
And there was, by the way, a bit more from ABC. Listen.
For Israel, make no mistake, this is a huge night, potentially the end of the nightmare. For the people of Gaza, this is going to be an enormous relief. For the people of Israel, potentially the end of a 2-year-long nightmare.
And for these families still waiting for the remaining hostages who are still alive to come home, this has been an agonizing wait. And of course, the families who will get the remains of loved ones who died while in captivity.
For Israel, make no mistake.
Remarkable. Aaron Burnett over at CNN, openly hostile to Donald Trump and his administration time and time again, as is the entire network, generally speaking. You got Scott Jennings and a couple of others, but really hostile. For those of you watching, look at the look on her face. She looks like she's in pain listening to this report. She looks distraught at the idea that peace has come to Gaza. Listen.
I just need to underscore what an enormous moment this is for so many people in this region, for the people of Gaza who have endured 2 years of war, for the families of these 48 remaining hostages who have endured 2 years of absolute agony. This is a watershed moment.
A watershed moment. Aaron Burnett looks like she's in agony. Having to listen to that, having to realize that for the 7th time in about 6 months' time, Donald Trump has delivered peace to an area in the world that was previously at war. It's a great day. It is a fabulous day for those in the Middle East and for American diplomacy. How about NBC also admitting the truth? Here's more.
This is a major accomplishment for President Trump, something that he's been really trying to work toward. There's been a lot of critics and questioning of whether or not he could pull off sort of negotiating and working to try to get all these sides together. Of course, there were a lot of nations involved. So this is, of course, not just a victory for President Trump, but really a number of Arab nations, Hamas, and, of course, Israel. But this is really huge news, and the president, of course, announcing it online.
I can't think of her name. She's also an openly hateful person, Donald Trump. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. That's fine. I don't watch that filth. By the way, Anthony, can you pull up the Truth Social post? Here's what Donald Trump posted to announce this last evening. I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh, and from the BBC, one more bit here. The BBC also choking on peace in Gaza. Roll it.
Of course, this is the first phase where he says all of the hostages will be released. The agreement, as we know, according to negotiations and reports from negotiations, is, of course, an agreement on hostages being released and also Palestinian prisoners in return being released from Israeli prisoners. And we see here that Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line. That is significant because this has been one of the points of contention that's been discussed this past week, as we understand, in those indirect talks that have been taking place in Egypt, was a look at those maps. Where would the Israeli military withdraw to? So according to this message from President Trump, they have then agreed on this.
President Donald Trump is the peace president. I've never seen anything like it. None of us have. None of us have. He is the peace president. He deserves, without question, the Nobel Peace Prize. Nobody has been more obsessed with reaching peace around the world than President Donald Trump. Nobody has been more obsessed with peace than President Donald Trump. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud that our president is able to get this done. I'm proud that we are able to sit here today and have good news and talk about something really encouraging and positive. God bless the president. God bless the United States. God bless America. All right? We've all heard about the studies of testosterone in young men drastically decreasing every decade. One major study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found a healthy 22-year-old man in 2000 had double the testosterone of a 22-year-old man today. So if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, you might want to listen up. Meet Mars from the Wellness Company, a doctor-formulated nutraceutical designed to restore vitality without synthetic hormones or stimulants. It helps men increase their testosterone naturally, enhance circulation, improve strength, focus, and, sexual performance too. So this isn't about masculinity, it's about health. Low testosterone affects energy, motivation, fertility, muscle mass, mood, and frankly, future generations. If you're looking for a boost, Mars will have you feeling like you are on another planet. Yeah, think about that. twc.health/Gruber. Use the promo code Gruber, you'll have a 10% savings plus free shipping. You can't beat that, men. Come on, get back in the game, boys. twc.health/Gruber, 10% off with that promo code and free shipping. I'll be right back. All right, well, it's a great day to be an American. I think all days are great days to be an American, by the way. Some days are just better than others. This is one of those days, all right? And join me now from Indiana's 3rd Congressional District, their member of Congress, Marlin Stutzman, currently serving his 4th term. Congressman, nice to have you on the program.
Good morning, Steve. Great to be with you this morning.
And what a good day it is. We got the announcement that Hamas has now accepted the 20-point Trump peace plan. It's been worked out. Another day where more peace is breaking out in the world because of the efforts of this administration and this president. What are your thoughts?
Oh, you're exactly right. I mean, what a great day, not only for America, but for Israel, for the Middle East, for the people in Gaza, and for the people in Israel. I was just visiting with some folks last night, and there's so many things that President Trump has affected in such a short amount of time in office that not only here at home but around the world, where he's really a peacemaker. And even when Bill Maher says that President Trump doesn't want war, he means it. And President Trump doesn't want war. He wants people to work together, build prosperity, and enjoying each other's company and getting along. And I think that's part of his own personality. And but the mainstream media, of course, doesn't like to admit that. The left doesn't want to admit that. But it just keeps happening over and over. And one thing I admire about President Trump is he just focuses on getting the job done. And while he'll engage the media, he still gets the job done.
He does. We played a clip here just a few minutes ago, Congressman, of CNN, and Erin Burnett looked like she was in agony listening to the correspondent say this is a remarkable day, this is an incredible achievement. It's been tried by other presidents. They've not been able to succeed here. It's monumental, and she just looks like she's in agony. These are people that don't want to give this president credit for anything, and yet he's successful, and he's successfully doing big things, not just in the Middle East and elsewhere, but, for example, in Washington, D.C., the annualized homicide rate in Washington, D.C. is now about 65 if they stay on the path they're on since the National Guard came in. And remember how he was, decried for doing the wrong thing. How dare you do this? He has dropped the homicide rate in the nation's capital, cleaned up the homeless encampments. He's planting flowers, revigorating parks, making America's capital look great again. You work there every day. I'm in Washington quite a bit. It's a big change, isn't it?
Oh, it is a big change. In fact, when I came out, I was here a couple of years ago, just walking down Pennsylvania Avenue, I just could not believe how bad the smell was of weed and homelessness. And you just felt like you were in a third world city, like in Moscow or something. I mean, it just didn't feel good at all. And I had some friends out from the district this last week, and they were like, I can't believe the difference. They could tell the difference. And so and that's the thing that I think is important for us as Americans, and President Trump has really led the way on this. We need to be proud of America. And so if you're going to be proud of America, you're going to take pride in your cities. You're going to take pride in your home. You're going to take pride in your community. And one of the things that the left has let happen is our big cities are ruining the country. And that's why there's such President Trump, he cares. He really cares. He cares about Chicago. I live in Indiana, and Chicago is such a great national city, but the leadership there they're just running it into the ground as a train wreck. And President Trump is willing to put the work in to go in and clean our cities up. And if we clean our cities up, it's going to be good for our whole country. And while I live in rural America, and I love rural America, it's tough out there because just business wise, I mean, agriculture, manufacturing. We're hardworking people, and then when we feel like the cities are taking advantage of us through healthcare programs and through all the government programs, it really gets frustrating, and sometimes just you get aggravated at your fellow American, and that shouldn't be the way it is.
I agree with that absolutely. Let me ask you one other thing here. I've often counseled my Democrat friends, be careful what you wish for. They were all excited about California redistricting. Well, I'm not sure that's going to pass in California, first of all. And second of all, Texas did push their deal through, and now Indiana looking at redistricting. There are a number of states, Indiana, Missouri, and others, that if they redistrict, the Democrats are going to find themselves on the losing end of this deal. It's going to be talked about in Indiana tomorrow, I believe. J.D. Vance is going to be there. Tell us what you know.
Yeah, no, and you know what? This is unfortunate. Democrats have started this. You know, a lot of my Republican legislative friends ask me, well, why do we have to redistrict, mid-census? And it's like, well, because the Democrats have already drawn their districts to favor them almost completely. I was talking to some Californians yesterday, and they've got 52, I think, districts, and they have 9 districts out of 52, something like that. And their effort, which you mentioned, to redistrict, would give them 4 Republicans out of 50-some districts. Massachusetts has 9 districts. They're 9-0 Democrat. Illinois has 17, 18 districts, and I think they've got 3 Republicans.
Right.
They've already drawn their maps. And that's the thing, Steve, is Republicans, we're good at policy. Democrats are good at politics. And that's why they'll do anything to win.
And you have to fight back. So let me ask you this before I run out of time here. How many more seats can Indiana send to Washington that are red?
We could do 2. And I'll tell you, if kindergarten classes drew the maps in Indiana, we could get all 9 because Indiana is a ruby red state.
It is.
So my hope is that the legislature follows through, and we have to balance the census that the Democrats have taken advantage of across the country and make sure that Hoosiers have fair and equal representation in Washington and not let California and Illinois and New York tip the scale to benefit them.
Very true. Congressman Marlin Stutzman, really appreciate you being here. You come back anytime. Love having you on the program, so thank you for being available this morning.
You bet. Will do. Thanks, Steve. Great to be with you.
Great to be with you, sir. It's an honor. I'll take a break and be back. It's the Steve Gruber Show, and it's an honor to have you watching and listening as well. Make sure you follow us on social media. You can be part of the question of the day every day and be part of this movement, this thing we call America. I'll be right back. All right, a couple of headlines I want to make sure that we get in, and you've got it at the top of your sheet today. So when you go out in the world, you're the best educated person in the office or wherever you may wander today. James Comey pled not guilty to 2 charges yesterday in a federal courtroom. The world's tallest Boy Scout indicted by a grand jury in deep, dark blue Northern Virginia here a few weeks ago. Charged with making false statements and obstructing a congressional hearing related to the Trump-Russia fake Russia Gate deal. What a mess. James Comey will be held to account. His trial set for January 5, 2026. Meanwhile, an Uber driver, this radical leftist, apparently thought that he would start fires, and he did. He set fires that resulted in the Pacific Palisades fire that killed 12 people, destroyed thousands of homes, and destroyed big chunks of Los Angeles. Jonathan Rinderknecht, 29 years old, arrested in Melbourne, Florida. He was living in California and working as an Uber driver. They've got him on tape. They tracked him down. They figured out who he was. They arrested him. He killed 12 people. Yeah. and was listening to rap music, anti-government music, had fantasy pictures of huge fires in urban areas on his phone, and a lot more evidence. He's done. And let's just say that. This guy's done, a radical leftist who hated America enough to set a fire that killed a dozen people. Look, I don't know what's wrong with these people. All right, stop concussions before they happen. I have a kid playing football, by the way. He's been using the NeuroGuard. It's a mouth guard invented by Dr. Michael Hutchinson in Traverse City, Michigan. It's for athletes in all sports. My kid plays football. He's been wearing this mouth guard for 3 years now. You know how many concussions he's gotten? Zero. None. Because this mouth guard prevents concussions almost completely. Those using this breakthrough technology only suffer concussions 0.26% of the time or less. It also will increase your strength and your speed by up to 16%, lift more weights, jump higher, run faster. And you can trust me, or you can trust Michigan State University and Wayne State University. They tested the NeuroGuard. They have certified results. Use the promo code Gruber. You'll save 10% at NeuroGuardPlus.com. NeuroGuardPlus.com. Don't get a concussion. Keep your head in the game, my friends. I'll be right back. All right, getting right back into it. Following our member of Congress there in Indiana. Look, redistricting could get other seats for the Republicans. again, Democrats, careful what you wish for, because if you want redistricting, the Republicans are going to give it to you. And if they give it to you, you're going to lose, because it's not clear at all. In fact, I think it's a 50-50 coin toss as whether or not California even passes their Prop 50, right? Casey Crosby, the co-chair of the Republican National Committee, joining me. She's been there since January 2025. Casey, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let me just talk about this redistricting real quickly. I don't think it's going to pass in California. It looks that way anyway. A lot of pushback from independents and Democrats alike who say, we've got a commission that we put in place, and they can see that Gavin Newsom is doing an end run on what is supposed to be the legal framework for districting in California. What do you make of it?
Well, you know, I like to say nobody likes Gavin more than Gavin, and he thinks he can go tit for tat with President Trump. And I think you nailed it on the head in the intro. You know, we have about 12 states that can go through redistricting by law, and he's not going to win at this game. But what we hear out of our people on the ground in California is that this is a battle. You know, we feel like it could go our way. They are giving it everything they have to make sure that they stop this plan. But again, you know, I don't think it's a great idea for Gavin Newsom to try to go tit for tat with President Trump. We know President Trump wins, and I always put my money on the president.
Well, he won in Gaza last night, as we know, so that's big news coming out that he has helped push through. He has been a relentless advocate for peace all over the planet. It's undeniable at this point, with the 20-point plan being accepted by Hamas and Israel, hostages to be released, Qatar, Turkey, Egypt all helped facilitate. Steve Witkoff was there, of course. What are your thoughts on that today?
I mean, it's historic. It's absolutely historic what President Trump has been able to do, and frankly, he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for bringing all these countries together and getting this done. I mean, the fact that they are creating a terror-free zone, a Council of Peace, they want to rebuild Gaza and make it a great city. So, I mean, it's amazing what he has been able to accomplish in just a few short months. Again, President Trump said this during the campaign, that he would bring peace to this area, and once again, he has kept his promise.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got the Democrats screaming for a deal on health care. Look, the Affordable Care Act never was about affordability. It was always about an interim step to get us to a single-payer system. That's my belief. I believe that Barack Obama wanted to deliver this country to a single-payer health care system, which, by the way, fail all around the world because they go broke every time. But here we are with Democrats screaming about the cost of insurance. Well, guys, it's your program. It's your system. You wanted Obamacare. You wanted the Affordable Care Act, and now you want to hang it on the Republicans. This is what they always do, though. They create a program that fails and then try to frighten the American people into believing that somehow the Republicans are at fault. They're not. I think that the Schumer shutdown, as some call it, is what they earned. They earned this, didn't they?
Oh, 100% they earned this. I mean, it was just a few short months ago when we were, when they fought and lobbied the parliamentarian to do a maneuver where we were trying to take out and lower premiums. They fought to keep it back in. In fact, they bragged about it, and now they are holding us hostage by shutting down the government, saying that the healthcare premiums are too high. I mean, they're just so out of touch with reality, and I think, again, it just is a testament to why they are doing so poorly across the country. I mean, we see in states that track registrations that they've lost 2.1 million registrations, while the Republicans have gained 2.4. And it's just their policies don't work. People are starting to see that they are not truthful when it comes to legislation, and they own this. They own this problem with the health care. They had the trifecta. They had the presidency, the House and the Senate. They created the problem when they had the trifecta, and now they're trying to hide behind some mistruths and act like it's our problem when they created the issue. And now they're holding the American people hostage because they want to put $1.5 trillion. They want us to spend that for 7 weeks to keep the government open. It's insane.
It is insane. Speaker Johnson being asked a number of times in the last few days, what about negotiating? He said, negotiate with what? Republicans didn't put anything in this. It's a clean resolution. We voted for it 13 times when Joe Biden was president. Clean resolutions to keep the government open and funded. there's nothing to negotiate with. So how long is this going to go on?
Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, the Republicans are lockstep. We're voting for it. I think obviously we have some Democrats who have crossed the line. I think that they will be having lots of discussions on this. I can't confirm, but I think I saw somewhere where the admin was making some phone calls, and pressure from constituents speaks volumes. And so I think that when people start feeling the pressure and start calling these legislators, that they will indeed see that they have to come to some sort of agreement on this. And President Trump, I believe, has been very clear. He's willing to negotiate and talk about health care, but we got to open the government. There's nothing really to negotiate until they stop holding us hostage. And once we get this passed and get it through, I think that they can open some discussions. At least I've been told that he is open to that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens here. I know, talking to some of my TSA friends when I was in Norfolk, Virginia for the Navy celebration over the weekend, they said that their paychecks will come Friday or Saturday, depending on which pay schedule they're on. And for this time around, most of their paychecks will be there for the TSA. I don't know how it is in other agencies because the shutdown came about 80% of the way through their pay period. So they're not going to get no check, but they're going to get a check that's short a bit. But if we don't get some things figured out, some of these folks are not going to get paid. And apparently the Democrats are okay with the people not getting paid. At least that's what I'm gathering. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, it appears that way. Again, they're holding us hostage by you not going ahead and voting for this clean revision that they have voted for 13 times. I mean, it's insane that they are holding us hostage over $1.5 trillion. They care more about giving illegals health care than they do the American people. And they own this shutdown. And I believe that the American people are going to start kicking and screaming. And certainly it is not favorable to them to be holding us hostage like this for 7 weeks for something that they have voted on numerous times.
Numerous times. Casey, really appreciate you being here. You come back anytime. It's a strange time. Donald Trump continues to win. Democrats continue to kick and scream. And so it is. We're getting some things done that are really important. Closing the border, Ambler Road up in Alaska to get critical minerals, fighting for the American people, and stopping wars around the world. I think it's a pretty good resume so far. Casey, thank you.
I think so too. Thank you so much. Anytime.
Greatly appreciated. There you have it. This part of the program brought to you by my good friends at Great Lakes Pet Food. The best dog food you can buy is made in America. It's made in West Michigan. GreatLakesPetFood.com. If you want your dogs to have pure chicken, turkey, pork, not a bunch of garbage, not fillers, not Chinese-made junk dog food. No, American-made quality dog food, GreatLakesPetFood.com. It can be shipped right to your doorstep today. It's what my dogs eat for years now. They're happy, they're healthy. They produce a lot of hair, but that's part of the deal, I guess. Anyhow, GreatLakesPetFood.com. GreatLakesPetFood.com. I'll be right back. Goldwater Institute has launched a brand new 6-episode podcast, Dismantling DEI. Dismantling DEI. It's already climbed to Apple's #1 government podcast. There's a lot of people paying attention to it. Well, you know, look, people want to get rid of a lot of this garbage, this woke nonsense. Timothy Manella is a senior fellow at the Goldwater Institute's Van Sittert Center for Constitutional Advocacy. He joins me now. Tim, nice to see you today.
Great to be here, Steve.
All right, so let's talk about this dismantling DEI. This idea, you know, we're just over a month since Charlie Kirk was killed publicly for having an opinion, for speaking to college kids. That's what he was killed for being honest, for being an American. And it highlights the urgency of free speech. And DEI, in many ways, look, it tried to silence people like me, like Charlie, to put us in the margins, to put us in the ditch, to silence us altogether. Free speech never been more important than it is today. True or false?
100%, Steve. And on this multi-part podcast, one of the guests is Nico Perino from the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. And he very eloquently talks about how DEI is a threat to free expression, especially on university campuses, where faculty have been compelled to express fealty to DEI through diversity statements and other means. And it's really contrary to what we would want in education, especially, where we would want the free exchange of ideas and ideas clashing with each other, people coming to a better understanding of the other side. And DEI threatens that. And I think that's a very important part of this story with DEI that we show in our podcast, that it's about continuing to promote sound education. It's not just about fairness, it's also about the future of education and how we prepare our young people for leadership.
Absolutely true. And, you know, the other thing that I think runs parallel to all this is the left's willingness to violate norms, like going in the back door of social media companies to delete people altogether, to spy on U.S. senators and members of Congress, to spy, I might remind people, Barack Obama got caught spying on reporters like Cheryl Atkinson and James Rosen. I mean, these things it's all one big spider web to me that are all interconnected. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think what you're pointing to is the importance of promoting constitutional principles.
Absolutely.
In education and public life. And I think, unfortunately, especially on college campuses and in education more broadly, that has been ignored or degraded. We have a recent poll taken by the American Council for Trustees and Alumni of students at Virginia public universities. There are some very disturbing findings in that. A quarter of students believe that their university is able to prohibit so-called hate speech. There's no hate speech exception in the First Amendment. There's no hate speech idea in American jurisprudence. And yet a quarter of students in the state university system of the state of Thomas Jefferson and other important founders believe in these unconstitutional limits on free speech.
What about the infiltration of the Chinese influence at our universities, Confucius Institutes, hundreds of thousands of students coming here from places like China that seem to insert or inject these ideas that are totalitarian, and trying to convince people that this lovely document in my hand, the United States Constitution, is somehow not the wonderful, earth-shattering piece of work that it truly is. It's the most important set of political documents ever written. And we don't teach our students enough about it. We don't teach civics enough in elementary, middle, or high school in this country, and it bleeds into college. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely, Steve. And at the Goldwater Institute, we are promoting policies such as our Freedom from Indoctrination Act, where part of that piece of legislation that we're promoting says you have to, as a public university, have a requirement in your general education course that talks about and instructs students on these important constitutional principles. And furthermore, you need to kind of contrast that free system that the founders established, that constitutional Republican system, with totalitarian systems and the completely contrary assumptions that proceed from communism and other totalitarian ideologies. And again, that's just something that right now most students are not getting. And that's a tragedy. If nothing else, it's very important that our public universities especially prepare our students for citizenship. If they don't know the foundations of our constitutional republic, what hope do we have for the future?
Yeah, exactly right. Really appreciate you being here, Tim. These are important topics. Dismantling DEI. Where can they find it?
They can find it wherever you get your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, and you can go to goldwaterinstitute.org for more. Thank you very much for having me.
Greatly appreciate you being here. You come back anytime. Really liked it. Enjoy that. Good work has to be done, and we have to fight for free speech all the time, Tim, so thank you for being here. All right, this part of the program brought to you by good friends at Wolverine Water. It is Michigan's #1 water treatment company. If you have stains in your shower or your toilet, or you don't like the way your water smells, maybe there's something you can do about it, and there is. WolverineWaterSystems.com. They've been in Michigan. Michigan-made products, a Michigan company. It's all made in America. WolverineWaterSystems.com. My good friend Paul Mahaney runs that place, does a hell of a job. You can find out more, WolverineWaterSystems.com. If your water isn't up to snuff, let's get it fixed today in Michigan, anywhere. WolverineWaterSystems.com, WolverineWaterSystems.com. When we come back, some sports with Brock. Yes, the Tigers have forced Game 5. Good news. We'll talk about it coming up. All right, time to check in on sports now with Brock Palmbush.
With a look at sports, I'm Brock Palmbush. There were 4 Major League Baseball playoff games yesterday. First in the American League, the Toronto Blue Jays eliminated the New York Yankees with a 5-2 victory in Game 4 of the AL Division Series in Yankee Stadium. Blue Jays win the series 3-1. They advanced to the American League Championship Series for the first time since 2016. The Detroit Tigers got home runs from Riley Green, Javier Baez, and Gleyber Torres as they erased an early 3-0 deficit to beat the Seattle Mariners 9-3 in Detroit in Game 4 of the ALDS. Series all even at 2 games apiece, the 5th and deciding game tomorrow night in Seattle. In the National League, the Chicago Cubs scored 4 runs in the first inning and held on to beat the Milwaukee Brewers 4-3 in Game 3 of the National League Division Series. Brewers still lead the series 2-1, and Kyle Schwarber hit 2 home runs to lead the Philadelphia Phillies past the LA Dodgers 8-2 in Game 3 of the NLDS. That's a look at sports. Back to you, Steve.
All right, Brock, how about those Tigers, huh? I mean, they exploded. If they keep that kind of offense going, they're kind of unstoppable. But I saw, Brock, you were a little upset on social media.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was watching it at home, and they're down 3-0 in the 5th inning, and I'm just like, I can't watch this crap anymore. I have to go do something else. So I had some cleanup work here at the radio station to do, and as soon as I got here, it was 3-1. As soon as I got into the studio to do my cleanup work, that's when they scored all their runs. So if you want to give me the credit for it, go ahead and do that.
All right, all the credit to you, but you didn't like them. You didn't like either team pulling their starting pitchers.
No, it's insane the way they do it now. And
it's how do they do it now?
Both. The way these analytics managers go, they rely on statistics, and they just overvalue their bullpen. They think the bullpen is more important than the starting pitcher. It's incredible. The Toronto Blue Jays used 8 pitchers last night in their victory over the New York Yankees.
8.
No pitcher threw more than an inning and a third. That's insane.
Don't hold back, Brock. Tell us how you feel. All right, we'll take a break.
It's just, yeah, the over-reliance on the bullpen's really hurting the sport, actually, the popularity of it.
We'll be right back with more. Glad to have you here. It's the Steve Gruber Show. There's always something to make you look around and say, hey, you know what? I live in a pretty great country. President Trump is calm, on point, on his game. And unlike the last guy, he is competent and coherent. Come on, man. We're not bending the knee anymore. We're here to take a stand for God and country.
This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Yes, it is. Launching into another brand new hour here of the program. And kicking off another great day. Gosh, it's been good today. Here are three big things you need to know this hour here on the Steve Gruber Show. Number one, the federal government's spending millions, billions now to make sure kids don't go hungry in Michigan around the country during this government shutdown. That's good news. Number two, trouble for Ford, big supplier of aluminum, most notably for the F-150, had a huge fire. So there's a setback as they scramble to come up with enough aluminum to make sure they remain number one. Happened at a New York facility. And number three, I think you're a little early there. Number three, come on, crack it again. Anyhow, there you go. John Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania that drives his colleagues bananas, he has congratulated Donald Trump for the historic peace plan in Gaza. Our parties are different, said Fetterman, but we have a shared ironclad commitment to Israel and its people. I congratulate POTUS on this historic peace plan that releases all the hostages now. Enduring peace in the region is possible. Our parties are different, but we have a shared ironclad commitment to Israel and its people, he said on X. Good for John Fetterman. Meanwhile, over on the rest of the social media places, people are just silent or not really involved. We'll be, of course, watching this throughout the day, these big developments. This is why Donald Trump said yesterday during the gathering at the White House that he might be on his way to the Middle East. Yeah, because he might be on his way to the Middle East. Word is he might go over there and address the Knesset. That, of course, the legislature of Israel. Has not been done for a very long time. Not done for a very long time. All right. Here's something I was going to do before all of this happened. I want you to, we talk about the Democrats not having leadership. Who is the leader of the Democrat Party in America today? Hillary Clinton? Chuck Schumer? Bill Clinton? Who is it? Hakeem Jeffries? Seriously, who is it? And there is no real answer. And Gavin Newsom comes to mind, right? But here's the question. Who is it? I didn't think that California could actually do any worse than Gavin Newsom. Boy, was I wrong. Katie Porter is a member of Congress, right? She's running for governor. She's currently leading the field. And, of course, if she's the Democrat nominee, she'll win the governor's mansion in California, almost assuredly, because it's a 60-40 state. All right? But you just have to listen to her to appreciate just how bizarre she is. Listen to this.
That this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation, which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me. I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make.
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
It's bizarre. I'm done here. I'm not going to answer follow-up questions. There's a reason her turnover on staff is 75%, higher than just about anybody in Congress. I can't even use the adjectives that have been used to describe her behind the scenes in Washington. She's running for governor. And by the way, is this seriously the best the Democrats can do in the entire state of California? What is it, 35 million people? This is the best, the only person you can find to lead the field of Democrats? Here's a bit more. Listen to this.
So on election night, I went to pick up my daughter from water polo practice, and she's 12, and she got in the car and she was crying. And I said, did someone punch you? Like, water polo is a rough sport. I was like, did someone hit you? Did the coach yell at you? What happened? And she said, Mom, Trump won. Trump's going to win. And what if I get raped and I need to have an abortion? This is from a 12-year-old, my 12-year-old daughter. And so it was really a reminder of how scary this time is for people, and how important it is for Democrats to have strategies, both at the state level and the federal level, to make sure that we can continue to protect people's rights.
What kind of a parent has a 12-year-old daughter crying about being raped and having an abortion? Either the story's hogwash, or she has some demented conversations with her kids. Either way, really, that's the best you can do, Democrats. That right there. Katie Porter is the best you can come up with in the entire state of California. Anthony. Anthony says, never mind what Anthony says. At any rate, if this is the best you can come up with, California, I feel sorry for you, all right? I do. What an embarrassment. If my 12-year-old daughter's crying and asking about abortion, and if Trump wins, how can she get an abortion? She's 12. I don't think abortion should be, what is she, 5th grade? I don't think abortion is top of her priority list in 5th grade. These people are insane. My Pure Health Solutions will help you lose weight the right way, not with GLP-1s and other heavy medications. My Pure Health is a company I've been with since 2018. I did the program. I loved it. I lost 47 pounds in, 65 days, something like that. Didn't even realize I had that much weight to give, but I did, and I did. Pretty much remarkable. And we'll go from there. My Pure Health, you can find out more right now. If you want to lose weight, find out what's up with your body, get your metabolism right, and then keep it off, log on right now, gruberhealth.com. gruberhealth.com. You can get there, no question about it, gruberhealth.com. I'll take a break and be back. It is the Steve Gruber Show. All right. We're going to continue on now as we dig through this and try to keep, everybody in check and hold people accountable. All that good stuff. My next guest is State Representative Jason Wolford. He's from the great city of Howell. They have one of my favorite places, the Silver Pig Oyster Bar, by the way. Howell, lovely place. Jason, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you, Steve. Appreciate you.
Great to have you here. All right, let's talk about the budget. We got the budget deal through. Good work by the speaker and the people mapping it out. You must be pretty pleased about being able to put that to bed.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the speaker. We see from the State House to the White House, we see leadership from Donald Trump, Speaker Matt Hall doing a great job, obviously negotiating as only 1/3 of, or I guess one leg of that stool, right? Having not the Senate and the governor, but being able to shave off nearly $2 billion of the budget, doing more for kids, ending a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse, finding nearly 4,700 ghost jobs and eliminating, being able to eliminate 2,000 of them, and just continuing to do great things, right? Looking at things like waste, fraud, and abuse in all of the departments, and putting accountability there. So very happy to do that. And obviously it was a few long days, but obviously it was months working up to this to fight to get to where we were.
I never understood why the Democrats went crazy about DOGE. I think that finding waste, fraud, and abuse in government is incredibly critical, both in Washington, D.C., in Lansing. It's small towns and communities all over this country. If you're wasting money or people are taking money that they're not entitled to and enriching themselves or their friends or whomever, it ought to be stopped. So let's talk about oversight. Let's talk about bridge cards. For anybody who doesn't know what a bridge card is, tell them what it is.
Yeah, so a bridge card is when you go to get benefits, you go on a website, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But a bridge card is where all of your benefits go. SNAP, FLIP, FLOP. I may have made up a couple of those names, but they're SNAP and all of these different programs, cash assistance, money for electric, food, you name it, clothing allowance. It all goes on and uploaded onto a card, and that is what the bridge card is.
Yeah. So what about abuse? What about fraud? What about people getting benefits and using bridge cards to get things that they shouldn't? And you see this happen. I hear stories where you've got a couple people together, they don't get married. They don't get married, they both get benefits. I mean, there's ways to game the system, if you will, right?
Absolutely. We have created a system to encourage people not to be married so that they can take advantage of benefits. And of course, that's not everybody. There's real people out there that need benefits. But let me give you an example of what happened. In my oversight committee, we brought the Department of Health and Human Services before us. They thought that they were going to start with a death by PowerPoint. Instead, we brought up the website where you apply for benefits to get that bridge card. We used the governor's address with a fake name. We went through all of the pages to get these benefits, never needing to select the Social Security box, the alien number, went through all of that, never getting denied. Oh, and by the way, at the beginning, we were told the $16 million website is so robust, so profound, so good. And by the time we got done going through all of that, fake names, no alien number, no Social Security number. Oh, and then it allowed us to register to vote. They said, oh, actually, we catch this all on the back end. And so the amount of fraud, waste, and abuse that was happening just in that let us put forth legislation to put chips in these bridge cards and also photos on these bridge cards. And so we were able to work that into the budget, which is nothing short of a miracle. We have a SNAP error rate in the state of Michigan of nearly over 9.5%. And what that means is either the department has been overpaying or underpaying people. And the federal government is saying, look, this is a mismanagement of federal taxpayer dollars, and you're going to have to pay back a fee. And that fee next year, the check that we write next year, is a minimum of $300 million to $450 million, simply because we have a director of that DHHS department that's running a $34 billion business, by the way, needs to be broke up, and there needs to be new management there. And when she came before my committee and we brought these things up, she literally blamed this on fat fingering numbers into a system that is costing us well into nearly $500 million.
So the only problem here is how it's entered because somebody put in the wrong fat fingering. That's really what that's what we're going with.
Yeah, and by the way, she had over 100 employees when she took over that were making over $100,000. In just a few years, there's over 1,000 employees making over $100,000. This is a bloated, ridiculous amount of money that's going to an agency that really needs some reorganization. And I'm thankful for Rep. Jay DeBoyer and myself on oversight, bringing focus to this. And I don't know if we have time, but we also are bringing oversight to UIA, the unemployment agency, as well.
Yeah, real quickly, we got about 30 seconds. Tell me about it.
All right. During COVID, the federal government gave us $40 billion for unemployment. And we found that there's $10 billion of those dollars that were wasted, fraud, stolen. Those dollars, by the way, unemployment agency going to those that aren't working, that were working and then on unemployment. A majority of those funds went to people 15 years old and younger, the incarcerated, and those over 100 years old, all because someone gave the order, and we're going to find out who it is, to turn off fraud detection 1 week before we got this money.
Remarkable. So turn off the fraud detection. We don't need to know about that. Jason Wolford from Howell, greatly appreciate you being here. DeBoyer, you guys keep doing the hard work, and with Speaker Hall up there, I think we're going to get some more good news and good work done. Thank you for being here.
We got a great unified team. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. All right. Nice town. At the Silver Pig, great oyster bar, Howell, Michigan. Really good. There's free shout out for places that I like when we find them. All right, we'll take a break and be back. Don't go anywhere. All right, so Ford, the F-150, the number one selling vehicle in America for many, many years. But they have an aluminum shortage because of a fire in Oswego, New York, the plant that produces half the aluminum sheet used by U.S. automakers. And the F-150 is primarily aluminum. Yeah, the automaker's best-selling, most profitable vehicles. Lightweight materials help boost towing power, fuel efficiency while guarding against rust. Since the fire, Ford has been working closely with Novelis, the company that ran that plant, owned by India's Hindalco Industries. It's relying on its global network and partner mills to keep customers supplied while repairs are underway. The company said it's working around the clock to restart the damaged equipment. General Motors and Stellantis also buy aluminum there. They're monitoring the situation. Don't expect significant fallout. Toyota and Rivian use similar amounts, and they're not terribly concerned. Rivian, I'm not sure, should be concerned because I'm not sure they're going to be here. Meanwhile, for unions, I didn't mention this story. Speaking of Ford and Stellantis and General Motors, the Teamsters president notes positive change with growing Republican union support in Senate testimony. Sean O'Brien testified before a Senate committee Wednesday, expressed appreciation for Republican lawmakers' efforts to reach out to labor unions and to work with them on legislation. It is a changing country, my friends. O'Brien testified before the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee. At the invitation of Chair Bill Cassidy, I'm encouraged that I've been invited here as a guest of the Republican majority. That is a positive change. That's because union membership is now voting for Donald Trump and Republicans. The Republicans have become the party of the working class in America. So there you go. I don't like to waste time. I would like to get things done for the rank and file Teamsters to further solutions that not dwell on problems of the past. Everyone in this room was similarly elected to produce for your own constituents, said O'Brien. He's right. Yeah, the Teamsters are becoming Republican voters more every single day. I'll take a break and be right back. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Glad to see you. All right, back to it now. Big news, as you know, we've been talking about it all morning. The 20-point plan put forward by President Donald Trump to end the war in Gaza after 2 years, accepted by Hamas, accepted by Israel, hostages to be released, Israel to draw back to predetermined lines. It'll be a phased-in process, but this is the first step. And big news. I mean, how can you You cannot overstate the success of this president and his relentless pursuit of peace around the world. My friend Congressman Bill Huizenga with me now. Bill, nice to see you this morning. This is really positive news. It's, what, number 7? I mean, Donald Trump has gone to the far corners of the earth to wars that, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know were going on, and stopped him after 30 or 40 years. Gaza, obviously, very divisive. A lot of people watching this. It's a momentous day, not just for Donald Trump, but for the Middle East, isn't it?
It is. It is. And as we are 2 years and 2 days into the war that it was perpetrated by Hamas and the attack that they had on Israel, here we go with actual, real, tangible progress. And, you know, people have to remember October 7 happened as Hamas responded to the progress that President Trump had made during the Abraham Accords. That was part of their reason for attacking. They wanted to spark the conflict again because too much progress towards peace had been made. And here we go with President Trump at the helm again. We're seeing real progress. Now, it drives the left bananas that they actually have to admit that this guy has ended conflict around the world. He's supposed to be the great warmonger. He's supposed to be all these things that they spew out there, right? You know, and we see the opposite of him. And it's been bigger conflicts like India and Pakistan. It's been smaller conflicts, but nonetheless bloody in Central Africa and other places that, around the world. And this is just nothing but positive. But I don't think you're going to see that out of the mainstream media, and certainly not the Nobel Peace Prize.
I don't think so either. You know, I played a clip here earlier of Aaron Burnett of CNN, the reporter coming in talking about these things and how this had been accomplished when several other presidents failed to do this. I mean, this war began on Joe Biden's watch. He was unable to stop it, and I can go on and on. She looked like she was in agony listening to this. I mean, she was in pain watching this. But you know, this is how the mainstream media conducts itself this way. I'm surprised that they're able to even say the truth, right? I am.
Yeah.
But I do congratulate one person, though, John Fetterman, coming on and saying great things. This is the right thing. He congratulated the president. I've heard from no other Democrats thus far. And the mainstream media is what it is. Frankly, it's a cesspool.
I was going to make that point, actually. Yeah, who's been silent are all of my colleagues who have been demanding peace in the Middle East, who've been demanding a ceasefire, who've been demanding President Trump step up. Where are they now, right? We've got some pretty prominent ones here in Michigan, and they're silent. Why? Because it's Donald Trump. And it is more important to them that they trash the president than they actually get peace. And that's the saddest part of this whole political situation here in the United States. But I give credit to Senator Fetterman as well. By the way, he is also one of the 3 Democrat senators who have voted to keep government open. He realizes that we're having the wrong debate at the wrong time about healthcare and about some of those other things. So the guy's actually plowing a independent path.
Which is, it's healthy to see. Look, I want to get to that, but I want to go back to one thing. We've not heard from Rashida Tlaib. Wouldn't she be one of the first people to say, thank you, Mr. President, for ending this? Ilhan Omar. Where are these people that have been openly anti-Israel, openly demanding that the war gets stopped? Because let's talk about the way this came together. Donald Trump basically put Bibi Netanyahu in a corner. He did. He figured it out, and he gave him no other option. You need to stop this. Here's where we are. And Netanyahu said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And they agreed. And then Hamas agreed. So, again, it's the relentless pursuit of peace, but nothing from Tlaib, nothing from Omar. I'm guessing you're not surprised.
I'd say, Steve, it's a relentless pursuit of peace, but through strength, through being tough, not from being a marshmallow. That's what we had for the last 4 years in the White House, is we had this amorphous marshmallow that nobody was taking serious, nobody was afraid of. And so when he would say, Russia, you better watch out, or Hamas, you better watch out, it didn't matter. Why? Because there was nothing behind it. There was no force of the bully pulpit of the presidency. This guy comes in, Donald Trump comes in, complete 180 from that. And they may not like us all the time, but they sure as hell respect us around the world.
Yeah, they don't need to like us. I don't care. All right, so back to the government shutdown here for a moment while I've got you, Bill. I've heard Speaker Johnson a number of times last week say, look, I've got nothing to negotiate with. The mainstream media, you need to negotiate. Why are you not negotiating? It's like, it's a clean resolution. We didn't put anything in it. What would I negotiate with? It's a fair point he makes, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I'm not sure why we would negotiate against ourselves in the House. I'm here in Washington. This is my my office out here in D.C. I'm meeting with colleagues. I'm meeting actually with constituents who had long held plans to be out here. This is more productive, I think, for me to be here. But I don't know if you saw the confrontation between one of my colleagues, Mike Lawler, and Hakeem Jeffries yesterday. Two New Yorkers going at it in the halls of Congress. It was beautiful. And Hakeem Jeffries, who might pretend like he's Barack Obama, he ain't no Barack Obama when it comes to communicating and it comes to being quick on his feet. He was just getting put in a corner by Mike Lawler, who was pointing out, rightly so, that this is an imminently avoidable shutdown. It's unnecessary. They're trying to pick a fight over healthcare funding, which, by the way, was a temporary COVID-based extension of additional subsidies to the ACA, which they had screwed up during Obamacare times. And their only answer to everything is just throw more money at it. And this is absolutely the wrong place, wrong time to have a debate about a permanent change to healthcare funding in a temporary government funding bill. Let's have the debate.
Well, there's no debate, Bill. Let's get right to it here.
Yeah.
Obamacare is a failure. Obamacare was always meant to fail. Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, had nothing to do with affordability. It was a path towards a single-payer system. That was always the intention, and that's where we are today, right or wrong.
Absolutely right. In fact, I had a telephone town hall last Thursday where one of the callers, by the way, I take calls from people who disagree with me on this and where I'm coming from. And this caller was trying to make the assertion that, no, this was the plan all along. This was only meant to be temporary while they permanently fixed it. I said, whoa, hold on. So you're saying that Medicaid for all, it was originally the goal? That's not what they said it was. And yet you actually spoke the part out loud that everyone knows,
that's
but
right.
Nobody acknowledges. And that's what we're trying to fight against. It's not my fault that they screwed up the healthcare system even worse than it was. Nobody feels good about the healthcare situation that we have here in the United States, but this is not how we fix it. All this does is brings us a Canadian-style healthcare system where the government has an irresponsible way of paying for it and, by the way, delivers crappy care. I'm not interested in doing that.
And it fails. Congressman Bill Huizenga from Michigan's 4th Congressional District. Always a pleasure to see you, Congressman. I appreciate it. Good day to be an American. It is.
It is. And let peace reign.
Yeah. We'll talk soon, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye-bye. I did a little bit of research here. Congressman Heisinger got me thinking about this, so I went and did a quick bit of research. I looked up Rashida Tlaib's X account. Nothing about the peace deal, just something about Gazans being in the middle of genocide. That was from 13 hours ago, which means that the peace announcement came sometime about the same time. She didn't say anything. Ilhan Omar. I've got nothing on Ilhan Omar's X account about peace in the Middle East. It's really strange, isn't it? Ivy's joining me now. Maybe she can help me. Ilhan Omar talking about government shutdowns, but nothing about peace in the Middle East, which they've been demanding Donald Trump secure. He does. They're silent. Good morning, Ivy.
Good morning. Are you surprised by this? They cannot give
I'm
credit where
disgusted by it.
credit
No, I'm
is
not
due.
surprised. I am disgusted by their behavior.
Yeah.
At least John Fetterman, you can think whatever you want. Yes, he's a Democrat, but at least he's honest. He comes out and goes, this is a great thing.
Right. And honestly, when Barack Obama was president or when Biden was president, I don't recall actually anything particular that he did that you were like, oh, that was a good thing to do. But I do recall a couple times when Obama was president, you were like, hey, you know what? I agree with that.
That's right.
And this is where we have a big problem in this country is because, these radical people on the left will they won't give any credit where credit is due. And this is good for the countries that, because they support Palestinians, right? And so this is good for them, but they won't say anything positive about him because they're just not honest. They don't care. They just want to destroy his reputation, the president that is. And, that's all that matters in their mind. I'm not even sure that it matters about what's happening to their people.
They don't care. If Donald Trump delivered peace to the whole world and stopped the war in Ukraine, they still wouldn't care. No. They would say he's this, he's that, he's everything else. Look,
right.
It's a huge success. It's a great success that he has stopped this war that began, by the way, during Joe Biden's time, probably during his nap time and auto pen time in the White House. So there you are.
Yeah. Well, I was actually listening in earlier and I got pretty angry about that. The woman that's running for governor in California.
Oh, yeah. Katie Porter.
Yeah. Anthony, let's play that just in case people haven't heard it.
So on election night, I went to pick up my daughter from water polo practice, and she's 12, and she got in the car and she was crying. And I said, did someone punch you? Like, water polo is a rough sport. I was like, did someone hit you? Did the coach yell at you? What happened? And she said, Mom, Trump won. Trump's going to win. And what if I get raped and I need to have an abortion? This is from a 12-year-old,
okay.
My 12-year-old
That's good.
daughter.
12-year-old.
So
really
this is the deal.
Reminder.
This is the deal.
Okay.
This is it as a mom. This is not a child problem. This is a parent problem.
Absolutely.
Your 12-year-old should not. First of all, yes. Do I think that you should have conversations about you need to make sure that you're not walking alone at night, especially in areas of California where they're living. Do you need to make sure that you're safe?
Yeah.
How about not having men and women's locker rooms, gals locker rooms? That's a good place to start. And to have a discussion about the need to have an abortion if she's raped.
At 12?
What kind of conversations are you having?
Exactly. If you're 12, isn't that like 5th grade? Who's discussing rape and abortion with their 12-year-old, their 5th grader, and the 5th grader is so traumatized by it that they're sobbing because Donald Trump won't be able to allow her to have an abortion? And first of all...
Yeah. Do you recall that bite I played for you a couple weeks ago about the 2 gals who were celebrating the death? Oh, did Trump die? Or whoever it was. Oh, whoever died. It's like, this is a problem with your home.
It's a parent problem.
It's a parent problem.
And in fact, I would suggest.
And it's like the same thing with kids or parents who claim that their 3-year-old says that they're a boy, or if they're a biological boy or a biological girl, and they say that's a parent problem, not a child problem.
In fact, I would suggest both of those examples: a 12-year-old sobbing about abortion that she can't get, or a 3-year-old, the parents claiming that that's transgender. That's child abuse.
Yeah, and not only this, but thinking about that these conversations happen with parents, but also, it makes me think about something here. I really doubt that the dads and the relationships are talking about this. I just can't imagine a dad saying, yeah, son, you're really a girl. I think this actually comes from moms most of the time.
I think you're right.
Because I just can't see that. Now dads might go along with it because they
And in fact, I would
because they
want to
think that they're doing the right thing for their kid.
White liberal moms.
Yeah.
Let's call it for what
but
it is.
not only that, but I wonder too how much social media has an influence on our kids, and
Oh,
I
a
know
ton.
it does has a tremendous amount of influence on our kids on platforms like YouTube and TikTok. And you
I've
know
been
there are a
asking
lot
this
of countries.
question.
There are a lot of countries, really quickly, that are starting to ban social media for
Sure.
16
Let me
under,
ask you.
15 and under.
Let me ask you. I asked Anthony, and Anthony's younger than both of you. You're kind of in the middle of the two. How many transgender people did you know in high school?
0.
Anthony?
0.
Me? 0. Weird. There were no transgender people when I went to high school, or you went to high school, Ivy, or Anthony went to high school.
Right, because now it's it's like the socially cool
sold.
thing to do, to transition and to-
Advertising.
yeah, and so you know like for our son, he does not have any social media accounts, nor will he until probably his senior year of high school, because there's so many other influences that just are complete lies that our kids should not be subject to.
Correct.
And it is impossible for you to see everything that they're looking
Not
at.
subjected to, bludgeoned with.
Right.
Just beaten, here it is, here it is. I mean, again, the only way you got to all this transgenderism is through advertising and propaganda. It's
Right.
one
And I
the
want to
same.
read something really quickly. And I think this is actually a really good thought and
You got about
observation.
20 seconds.
That 60% of boys aged 11 to 19 don't physically see a single friend in their free time over the course of a week.
What?
You think that's true?
If it is, it's horrifying.
I think it's true outside of school.
Hold that thought for tomorrow. Free speech, free for all Friday tomorrow. I want to know more about that. They need to get off their damn phones and get outside.
Yep.
Ivy, good stuff. Love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Final thoughts after this. right, so look, I think that should be my question of the day. How many transgender kids did you know in high school? And I want to go across all age brackets. How many transgender kids did you know in high school? Serious question. How many kids do you think we're talking about abortion in elementary school? I think the number is still 0 on both those questions. What is going on in a household where abortion is a discussion for a 12-year-old girl that is so traumatized by the discussion and so traumatized by the idea of a president being elected that they're sobbing because they might not have access to an abortion? They're 12. And this whole idea, look, there's no question, social media. The transgender move is funded by China. Man, look, I don't care. TikTok is owned by who? And the most prevalence that I see, I don't see it so much on X or Facebook. I see it on TikTok when I see it. Am I wrong about that, Anthony, when it comes to transgender, whatever?
Yeah, TikTok.
TikTok. Yeah. And who owns TikTok? Chinese. So who's pushing the transgender ideology? Come on. It's pretty easy to connect the dots. The shortest point between A and B is common sense. I mean, use your heads, people. Let's get our head in the game, all right? Let's just get our head in the game because there it is. Pretty darn clear. All right. Big day tomorrow, of course. It's free speech, free for all Friday. Write this down, 877-310-9966. That is the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline. Patriot Mobile, terrific partner to have. PatriotMobile.com, promo code Gruber. You'll get your first month free. We'll talk about that again tomorrow. But be prepared to call in 877-310-9966. I don't know anybody that does this anymore. I do this every Friday. Free speech, free for all Friday, right here. You can be heard, all right? Fight the good fight and keep the faith. God bless America. I'm Steve Gruber. This is the Steve Gruber Show. And remember, together we can save America. Work harder. Be better. Talk soon.